Hi friends, I'm just going to do a quick video again. I like these quick ones, showing you how I made this card, which was inspired by Jackie, my upline, and it's quite similar, but just with a few different details. So this is what we're going to make. Let's get started. So we've got our base card, and I always tuck the inner inside, so I know that's the inner. It's often a different size to the outer. And I do my inners at 3¼ inches by 5, and that way you'll get 5 out of a sheet of cardstock, which is, a good economical run. So the next thing we need is the layer, which I've pre-stamped, because you only see the tiny little corner on both sides. So I'll attach that layer now using my Tombow glue. Now we get the designer paper, which I just love. This is beautiful. Nature's Beauty. It's very similar to a new one we're coming out called Lovely and Beautiful. But this one, I just want to roll those corners ever so slightly, and the Take Your Pick tool's ideal for it, using the pointy end. So that means we can just see the little bit of text poking out from underneath. Okay, position that in the middle. Don't squash my corners. Now the piece, this is cut from the Take a Note dies and stamp sets. Forgive me if I'm wrong. And it also has this awesome paper clip. Isn't that cool? So that's just adding a little bit of detail. And I think what I might do is put a dimensional on top of that on the back so that it won't move on me. And I'm going to dimensional it onto the page anyway, so that was a good start. So we'll use another 3. Don't need to overdo it. I like a bit of movement in the elements that I apply to a card. And this is going on a bit of an angle. Now the flowers, and I'll quickly show you how you go about doing those. I'm actually using Timid Tiger, which is one of our in colours, rather than the colour that I actually did use, but this will give you the idea. So we start off using the detail die, like so, and then this one is just a solid colour. So using the same colour, the only way to get that to look right is to stamp it off, so we get rid of a lot of that extra ink, and then line it up and stamp over. You've got the 2 tones, you see? Isn't that cool? And then there's dies in the set. The set is called Petals of Beauty, and there's dies in the set to cut out that flower, which I've already done. And I've given it a bit of a screw up to kind of make it look a bit more textured and natural. My pad was starting to get quite low on ink. You can see how much darker the original colours were, but they were also a bit grainy, so it needed ink. So Tombow the back of that, pop that on, and the little one, and we'll just tuck that underneath. And now we want to use some of the 2025 to 27 in colour pearls, flat pearls. Love these. Using my Take Your Pick tool to just pick up, we'll go the biggest one. Oh, it's run off the biggest one to go in the big flower, and the little one to go in the smaller flower. lost the glue off the back of that pearl. Don't know how, but easy fixed. Little dab of glue. Right. It's probably when it ran off the side of the plastic. Anyway, that's done. Now the leaves, which I've pre-done, I cut off the bottom 2 leaves, like so. You won't see that bit because it's going underneath. And then just to give them a bit of texture, I couldn't bend them this way, which I often do, because they've actually got a split in the leaf. So I just bent them this way and gave them a bit of a manipulation. And then those, little dab of glue. You need very little. And if your glue's not coming out, just give it a little shake rather than a squeeze. And it'll come out and you won't get covered in glue. It's always a good plan. You see, that goes under there, and we can press those leaves enough just to get them to bond. And then the 2 that we cut off are going in the bottom. Do the same thing, give them a bit of a squish. And pop them under there. Okay, now the words, I stamped this one in Mossy Meadow rather than the Calypso Coral, which I'd used on the original. And I've got a piece of Calypso Coral card. I always like to mount my words onto the coordinating card. It looks so much better than just sticking them on plain. See, it sort of doesn't show. But do wait till we put it on a little mat. Even gap all the way around. Trim a little bit off the outside. Also, to give a texture, you can run your scissors around the outside and it just roughs up the edge of the card and gives it texture. We'll put a couple of dimensionals behind that because we've got room and because we can. And pop our words across there. Pretty. And then on the inside, I thought rather than using the stamps, which I did in the first one, I'd use the, I could use either way. Actually, I like the flowers. No, I'll go with the other. I'll go with the back of it because the flowers really are cut off. We'll just put that on the bottom of the page. Trim it back. And now we add the inner. And we're done. You can decorate the envelope if you like, make it all pretty, add a flower or whatever, surprise the postie. Anyway, thanks for joining me and I'll be back with you soon. Enjoy the video. Bye.